welcome to part 6. So, very quickly, we'll just catch up where we left off last time. The battery hatch. So what you're going to end up doing is making your epoxy resin, putting the magnets on, but obviously putting sellotape on top of that magnet, sellotape it, put the other magnet on it, put your epoxy in, put that on, let it set, pull it out, and that's what it should look like. Okay, so we'll look at that as job done. So what's next? Well, you have to get your 20 gauge wire, and you need to bend it according to the plan. And remember, there's a right and there's a left. So taking part, now go to step 32, taking parts LG1R, LG2R, remove it from plywood sheet 7. Clean the wire, and that will help it bond better. Pin the undercarriage parts to the plywood legs in the plan, aligning them with the edge lines on the plywood. Now you'll notice, perhaps, I don't know if you can, yeah, they have dotted lines there, which they call edge parts. So you just bend the wire, make sure it's within those edge parts, and then basically wick CA along the wires to bond them to the plywood. Allow the glue to fully set before removing them from the plan. So I've pinned these to the boards ready. They come in 2 parts. I've just glued them together there. Just let that go off first, because otherwise, you know, you're dealing with 3 parts and juggling. With this one, I've done the same thing, but I've just put the wire in dry, pinned it down, and then what I'll do is I'll go along this edge here very carefully and apply CA in there. I did think about using epoxy, which I think might be a little bit better, but I suppose it comes down to preferential choice at the end of the day. So how did I come to bend the wire in the right place? Well, let's see if I can show you. I'll just take these pins out, and hopefully I won't lose them, which I normally do. My best trick is to drop them on the floor and then I can't find them, and I find them weeks and weeks later and I go, oh, that's what happened to it. Anyway, let's see, I'll get that out and I'll lift that off. Just put the edge of the knife under one end there, slide it down, hey presto, that comes off. Put that to one side. So first of all, is it long enough? Yeah, I guess it is. So all I do, I mean, there's all different ways of doing these things. Let's see if I can get the camera in the right place. The way that I do it is I hold it up and I mark where the bend goes with my Sharpie. Yeah, so I know the first bend's there. So I mark that, and then I put the bend in with my pliers, and I just bend it a little bit at a time, because you don't want to over bend it, because you've got to bend it back again, and that weakens it. Just a little touch. I offer it up, and that's about right, just about. Could go back a little bit. Yeah, got to bend it back probably a little bit there. Never mind. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. So then I mark the next bend there, and I know that the width is about there. I'll line up that bend at the top, because it's going that way. Bend it, not all the way. Offer it up. Now it's got to go a little bit more. And you just keep doing it like that until you get there. I have done it in one in the past, but it's not something that happens often. Now I've still got to go a little bit more. Anyway, so I will complete that off camera. Otherwise, it's like watching the glue dry, isn't it? Okay. Right, so everything's been bent and glued onto the plywood landing gear or undercarriage. They abbreviate it as UC. So the next part is to go on to this bit here. Now I'm just going to read out very brief what it said, because this is important you get this bit right. Okay, so let me read the instructions here. Now they cut out LG3L and LG3U from sheet 6. Using the axle wire, cut a straight edge along the shallow groove between the etch lines. So what you have to do is, that way up, make sure the F is showing, and just get the wire, get a straight edge like a metal rule, yeah, and just score it along like that. Make sure it's in the straight line though, because that's important. It just causes a groove on both pieces so that you can stick them together. So here we are then. So now what you have to do is you have to cut the wire, I think it's 153 millimeters from memory, and leaving 23 millimeters long either side of LG3L. So you'll end up with something that looks, let's see if I can get this right, like that. Now please note the letter F is facing up towards you, and I've got this at the top facing up towards you. And there's a letter F there which then faces down, so the groove should be the same side as the letter F. So the letter F goes at the top and goes like that. Now when you come to line these up, and you'll see these grooves at the sides here, if you grab some scrap wood and just make sure that they're lined up, you'll see there's a step. See that step there? Okay, and later on they're going to ask you to bevel that, so it should look like that. Okay, well what you've got to do first is make sure that these are lined up properly, because what you've got, it's basically a tiny wing. That's what it is. It's a tiny wing, and it's there to create lift. So just make sure that when the ribs go in here that these are lined up, and that's all you got to do, and then just glue them together. Now you can do that either by wicking or placing some glue on it. I think I will use some PVA on that because I'm in no rush, and it gives you time to, you know, line it up. I mean, you can use CA, but don't forget CA soaks straight in and it will glue instantly. So it doesn't give you a chance. If you haven't got these lined up, you haven't got the chance of manoeuvring. So I think I'm going to use PVA on that. And then we'll look at beveling this. I wonder whether it's better to bevel it now, to be honest with you, because that wire's in the way. Anyway, let me do that and I'll come back to you. Now, this bit we're going to do backwards, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, the top rail comes out. That's number 9. There you go. Now, whatever you do, don't glue these legs in. And make sure the pointy end, or the longer end, is at the front. Okay, so I'm just saying that now, because you can't say I haven't told you. We'll take out the 2-ply number 8s. Now I highly advise you do a dry fit as I have done here, because you're going to find yourself trying to glue things in and they won't fit straight away. I'll take out the number 7s like this. Come on now, I know you want to. Ooh. Okay, and then the legs come out like this. Now the number 5s is 5 of them go in the middle there. You got, no sorry, the leading edge is number 5. Do apologise, I think these are 6. So you pin down the trailing edge. Now underneath here, I'll take these out. Okay, I've got to take this pin out anyway because it's in the way. Put that in a bit good. You've got to put a spacer underneath a 3/32 piece that's 9 centimeters long and 1 centimeter wide, and then carefully put the axle on top of it, and then do the reverse of what I've done. And I don't think it's wise to glue anything in just yet until you've got it all together. It's fiddly, it's really fiddly. So do that, and I'm going to glue this together now, and I'll see you then. So I have tried something new. Cliff Harvey uses this method. I got some of those thin tubes, and I have to say it's quite good. I don't know what happens when it dries in the top, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. So using medium zap on that one, zap a gap. So yeah, actually I've forgotten how much you pay for that. But anyway, let's see how we get on with that. Something new for me. Normally I use a toothpick. So anyway, this is what you should end up with. So this ends up being recessed under the bottom of the ribs. Your undercarriage legs should be free and easy, remembering that the pointy long bit goes at the front. Okay, so if you've already done this and it's the wrong way around, well mate, you know, it's too late now. And I've given it a bit of a sanding, and you need to bevel the bottom edge there to round it off. Okay, I remember Cliff telling me that somebody asked you, how do you do that? Well, you just get a flat block and you do that. That's all you got to do. That's it, until it rounds off. That's all you got to do. There's no mystery to it. Okay, so that's what you end up with, the undercarriage there. So I think the instructions leave it there, and I think they will want us to attach it to the fuzz next. So I'm going to leave it there. So the next video should be number 7. I've noticed I'm getting my numbers mixed up. That's because I'm at 6s and 7s and I write all 2 and 8. So yeah, I apologise for all that business. Oh, by the way, before I go, got a troll. That means I'm famous. And as I said in one of my videos before, and I will say it again, you can contact me, write whatever you like, for long as you are polite. If you're not going to be polite, mate, I'll just tell you to F off, and then give you a chance to read it, and then delete whatever it is you said. Yes, Chris, I am talking to you. So just be polite, please. That's all you got to be. If you think I'm a numpty, then that's fine. That's wonderful. Just say it in a nice way, because other people are going to read this, and then if they get shocked by what you're saying, they're going to think you're a numpty. Okay. Anyway, so we'll leave it at that. And I look forward to, now is this 6? Yeah, I think this is 6. So the next one will be 7. See you in 7. And we'll start attaching this to the undercarriage. Thank you very much for watching.